presented by Pacific Premier Bank, is a top 25 matchup. The 22nd ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders in for the first of two to take on the 8th ranked team of the nation, the Stanford Cardinal, here at Klein Field at Sunken Diamond. And this is a rare and much anticipated matchup between two of the top teams in the nation and two of the top offenses in the country. For Texas Tech, they arrived after a doubleheader Saturday. On Sunday, they flew in from Lubbock, practiced here at Sunken Diamond on Sunday night, and ready for the first of two games today against a Stanford team that's playing great baseball. Stanford has won 4 straight. They're coming off a sweep of the rival Cal over the weekend in Berkeley, and they've won 11 of their last 13 games. Well, we mentioned the offense for Texas Tech. They will go toe-to-toe with Stanford tonight, and it should be interesting. Gavin Cash, the sophomore from Texas, a transfer from the University of Texas, and he's been fantastic for the Red Raiders, leading what is the 6th ranked offense in the nation in terms of total run output. And you can see his numbers there. 13 homers, 49 runs batted in, and a slugging percentage just under 800, which leads the Big 12. Stanford is one of the best offenses in the nation as well, averaging 9 runs a game. But over the weekend, they got offense from an unlikely source. Cole Hinkleman, a senior and seldom used. He hadn't had a hit in 2 years, but he had an incredible series against Cal as the DH, including the go-ahead 3-run homer in the top of the 9th inning when he was down to his final strike. So Stanford stole the last one, and they swept the Cal Bears on the strength of Hinkleman. But it was also the usual suspects. Tommy Troy, who once again is batting in that 3-hole, the third baseman for Stanford. Look at what he did against the Bears. 6 for 12 in the series with a home run and 2 runs batted in. And he raised his average. He's now leading the Pac-12 in batting at .424, and he was able to dominate against that Cal pitching staff. So it's two of the best offenses in the country going toe-to-toe, Texas Tech, with a rare trip west and maybe a preview of the postseason. The starting lineups and the first pitch in this marquee top 20. Pac-12 baseball is presented by Rawlings. Champions choose Rawlings. And by Pacific Premier Bank, the official bank of the Pac-12. Images from the 2021 Lubbock Regional when Stanford went on the road to Texas Tech and swept the Red Raiders to advance to Omaha. Stanford would eventually fall to Vanderbilt, the national runner-up. But that's the last meeting. And you think Stanford and Texas Tech, you don't necessarily think a team that, or two teams that just met 2 years ago. Is the 7th all-time meeting between these two, but just the 2nd time they've met in the regular season, and the first time Texas Tech and Stanford have ever met at one of their home stadiums. 2 games here in the Bay Area, and then next year Stanford will head off to Lubbock. Take a look at the Red Raiders starting lineup. Presented by Graduate Hotels, Nolan Hester, Gage Harrelson, and Kevin Bazell, who started over the weekend behind the plate, had been the third baseman most of the year. He'll make his 2nd start as the catcher today. And then Cash and the DH, Austin Green. Make note at the bottom there, a couple of freshmen, true freshmen. Tracer Lopez is starting at second base, and Will Burns is starting at short. So it's the 3rd time those 2 freshmen have started up the middle so far this season. They will face the freshman from Northern California, from Eureka, California, Nick Dugan, true freshman, making his 5th career start. You can see he's gone just 19 1/3 innings this year. He's walked 14 batters and struck out 18. He appeared briefly, just faced 1 batter over the weekend in the series win over Cal, and last started last weekend in one of the 4 games that Stanford played at Oklahoma in Norman. They won 2 of 2. Texas Tech coming off a sweep of a Saturday doubleheader after losing a Friday game out of league. And so they've won 2 straight. Stanford's won 4 in a row. The left fielder Nolan Hester standing in, and the first pitch from Nick Dugan on the way, a fastball 91 miles an hour, and we're underway. Behind the plate calling balls and strikes is Scott Latrende. Rogers delivers, and Hester swings and misses. So Hester, Harrelson, and Bazell is a Texas Tech team that has played very well this year. They've put up the numbers, but they have not played many games away from home as Hester strikes out to start the game. Just 0-4 in true road games this year for Texas Tech. 21-4 at home and 22-10 overall. Stanford, meanwhile, 21-7 overall and 12-2 here at home. Now here's Gage Harrelson, the center fielder. Team leading 17 multi-hit games, and he takes a strike. He had been predominantly in right field, and then some injuries have shaken things up in the Texas Tech outfield as Dugan misses low. With Dylan Carter injured about a month ago against Iowa, Harrelson moved over to center. A true freshman. And the 1-1 pitch to him is a breaking ball at 82 miles an hour. Nick Dugan from Eureka, California. Misses outside and it's 3-1. St. Bernard's Academy in Eureka, which is closer to the Oregon border than it is here to Stanford, about 100 miles south of the Oregon border, north of Eureka. And there is a strike on the inside, and the count is now full. Last week against Oklahoma in Norman, he went 3 2/3 innings, allowed 4 earned runs through 86 pitches. The 3-2 sprayed high off the screen, and the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes to Gage Harrelson. Again, the payoff pitch, freshman against freshman, and that's fisted out towards left. Alberto Rios. Check that. That is Cole Hinkleman out there to make the play, and that's out number 2. Take a look at the Stanford defense. It'll be Alberto Rios, often in left field behind the plate today, and Malcolm Moore getting a day off behind home, and he'll be DHing. You see Hinkleman, Park, and Montgomery, a big arm in right. Graham and Bowser on the right side. Cobb, who's a very good shortstop, a lot of range, very athletic, and Tommy Troy over at third. Kevin Bazell making his second start behind the plate today for Texas Tech. So Hinkleman had been the DH the last 2 games for Stanford, now getting the opportunity in left field. The hero we showed you there in the open. His great weekend. Gavin Cash, Big 12's leading home run hitter, is on deck. Dugan's 1-2 pitch. Chopped over to third. Tommy Troy is there. Pats it in the mitt and uncorks on the money over to Carter Graham. And a clean 1-2-3 inning for the freshman Nick Dugan on a gorgeous day here at Stanford. We head to the bottom of the first. Talking to David Esker, Stanford's head coach, they really feel like there's a 3-2 pitch fouled away, that Dugan's going to be a big part of the Stanford future. A program that has fantastic starting pitching right now. They've got a very low staff ERA in large part because of their starters. Again, the 3-2 pitch, and this is pulled right into the shift, and it skips past Bowser, the second baseman who couldn't snag it. A hard hit ball by Gavin Cash, and he's on base with a hit. They had the shift played perfectly, and Bowser was in position, had to go to a backhand, and that thing was just too hot to handle. Tough play. And so Cash is aboard with the first hit of the day for Texas Tech. 7th in the country in hits is Cash, so he adds to it. And he's aboard now for the DH, Austin Green. Green only trails one man in the Big 12 in RBIs, and it's his teammate Gavin Cash who's over at first base. First year at Texas Tech after 2 years of junior college ball. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. Nick Dugan, the Stanford pitcher, is legendary up in his home area for his last high school appearance. The 1-1 pitch, a big breaking ball at 78 miles an hour. That curveball, he gets ahead 1-2. His last appearance, he came out of the bullpen in the state title game. In the third inning with his team trailing, he struck out all 13 batters that he faced. And St. Bernard's Academy came from behind to win the state title 7-6. A special moment for him. And Thomas Eager, Stanford's great pitching coach, almost brought him into the game at Cal the other night. He almost pitched in 2 games instead of 1. They were ultimately happy they didn't have to use him much because they had him slated for this Monday night start, and they just want him to get out there and throw more. And how rare on a midweek for, and you could say this for both pitchers, Dugan and Rogers tonight, to be able to face lineups of the quality of these two teams. The 2-2 to Green, swing and a miss. Strikeout number 2 for Dugan. The fastball sits 89-92 for Dugan. And Thomas Eager said his curveball and his changeup, if they are on, they're both really good pitches. There you see the changeup as well as the slider. That was 81 miles an hour on the change. Now Zach Vuletic, the right fielder. Vuletic making his 5th start of the year tonight. You can see the sun there on the hitter. It's not in their eyes. The sun is setting behind, well behind first base. That breaking ball is up high, and it's 2-0. It does create the shadows, of course, across the field. And there you can see the sun comes into play maybe on a pop-up running that direction. There's a lot of foul ground, a ton of foul ground on the first and third base sides. 3-0 now the count to Vuletic. Texas Tech team that, as you might expect, I mean, they're top 10 in runs in the nation. They are 6th in walks. They get on base a ton. And that's ball 4. So there is the first walk yielded by Nick Dugan today. Cash will get up to second base. 10th in on-base percentage in the country and 8th in the nation in batting average, .321. And now here's Hudson White, the third baseman. This game features each team's respective league freshman of the year. Braden Montgomery, the Pac-12 freshman of the year last year in right field, and the Big 12 freshman of the year last year, Hudson White, the third baseman for Texas Tech tonight. And with a runner on at second, that curveball misses, and it's 1-0. 5 straight pitches out of the zone here from Dugan. Six homers on the season for White. And this is hit hard and past the dive of the third baseman, Troy. Cash is coming around third base. Hinkleman up with the throw. That'll get cut off, and Texas Tech strikes first. The Red Raiders lead 1-0 on the RBI single from Hudson White.
Now
Vuletic stopped at second. And now here comes Tracer Lopez, the true freshman second baseman. Lopez stands in with Vuletic at second and White at first. And the pitch is in there for a strike. Couple of hard hit ground balls, the 2 hits in this inning for Texas Tech. Lopez, a freshman who's hitting .345, a reclassified freshman. Was supposed to be a high school senior this year, but came in a year early, came in the fall. It's played shortstop for Texas Tech today at second base. With the other reclassified freshman, Will Burns, playing at short. Burns, who is on deck. That's in the dirt, blocked by Rios. Carter Graham, the Stanford first baseman, is playing behind the runner wide over at first. Nick Dugan checks and throws, and there's a curveball for called. Strike three. Third strikeout for Dugan, and a big one to get Lopez. And now it'll be Will Burns. Good curve. Now here's Burns. And he takes a strike. Burns, mentioned just like Lopez, reclassified. But unlike Lopez, he played football in the fall in Mission Viejo. He's from California, played football in the fall, and then came in this year, his calendar year at Texas Tech. And he ropes that into left field, a base hit. Coming around, Vuletic is going to score. Hinkleman up with it, but it's 2-0 Texas Tech, and the freshman comes through. That's got to feel good for Burns, who had in his recruitment talked to Stanford coming out of high school about football and baseball. And so certainly he imagined himself playing here. So he gets the opportunity and he comes through clutch. And now the top of the order for Nolan Hester. Hester struck out swinging his first time. Hudson White is at second, Burns is at first. And that's low for a ball, 90 miles an hour on that fastball from Nick Dugan. 26 pitch inning so far for Dugan. The pitch, and that's fouled out of play, and the count 1-1. Stanford not used to being scored on first. And getting ahead of them, it gives you your best chance. And it's obvious, but then you check the numbers. Stanford is 15-1 this year when they score first, but that will not be the case today. The 1-1. And again, this is foul out of play. Ton of foul ground, as you can see, down third base and first base, but hardly any foul ground down right and left field. A ball and 2 strikes here to Hester. 2 on and 2 out. The pitch up high, and it's 2-2. Great coaching matchup today between the two. David Esker, Stanford, and Tim Tadlock in his 11th year at Texas Tech. 3 National Coach of the Year awards. Tadlock twice the National Coach of the Year. David Esker 3 times the Pac-12 Coach of the Year and once the National Coach of the Year. And that hits Hester in a 2-2 count, and so he's aboard now, and the bases are loaded. Up to third base goes Hudson White. Will Burns over to second, and here's Gage Harrelson. So a really clean first inning for Dugan, a distant memory now. Harrelson flew out to left his first time. 2 across in the inning, and the base is loaded. Dugan's pitch is well outside. 3 hits, a walk, and a hit batter, and 2 strikeouts. That's what's happened this inning so far. The pitch to Harrelson popped out of play, and it's 1-1. Harrelson from the state of Georgia. A true freshman, a perfect game All-American in 2021. The 1-1 pitch, and the curve misses. And see, Dugan likes that pitch. Harrelson, the 8th batter to the plate in this inning. And he lines that ball fair down the left field line. Coming in to score is White. Burns right behind him. The throw comes into the infield and in with a 2 RBI double is Gage Harrelson. And it's now 4-0 Texas Tech.
Yeah, Burnsy.
And everybody's going to bat in this inning for the Red Raiders. Take another look. They are burning out the lines down that left field line. They're giving Hinkleman a lot of work tonight. And now here's Kevin Bazell with 2 on and 2 out. 2 runners in scoring position for Bazell, who's the 9th man to step up in this second inning. Grounded out to third his first time. He swings and misses. The hitters have gone from in the sun to in the shade just in this half inning. They've been at the plate so long. The 0-1 pitch, and that ball comes through the shadows for a ball, and it's 1-1. Gavin Cash, who led off the inning with a hit, is the on-deck hitter. Hester's the runner at third. Harrelson, who just doubled, is the runner at second. Stanford's been so good here at home, 12-2. Dugan has the look from Rios and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Dugan trying to end this here. 4 runs is not anything that would spook Stanford's offense, especially this early. But he'd love to keep it at that. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss in the dirt. Rios jumps out, doesn't get the tag, throws to first, and that's a little closer than they would have liked. But Carter Grand's able to complete the putout 2-3. However, Texas Tech scores first, and they lead 4-0. Fog in the distance rolling in here, the bottom of the second inning, and 4 runs in the top of the inning. Texas Tech leading 4-0. I cannot emphasize, for those of you not in the Bay Area, how long everyone here has been waiting to see this. A sunny day in the high 60s, low 70s. It's been a long wait. And for baseball, you're not supposed to wait this long to get a beautiful sunny day like this. But we got it, and we've got a great matchup to go with it, a top 25 matchup. And right now, Jacob Rogers, the young freshman for Texas Tech, is staked to a 4-0 lead. He retired Stanford in the first on just 9 pitches. So now he'll face Braden Montgomery, one of the best young players in the nation. A cleanup hitter, just a sophomore. So can Rogers avoid the second inning that the Stanford freshman pitcher Nick Dugan just had? Montgomery, Malcolm Moore, Drew Bowser. A lot of pop. Here's a 2-0 pitch. And Montgomery takes a strike, 92 miles an hour on the fastball. Braden Montgomery with a .507 on base percentage, 3rd best in the Pac-12, and light tower power. A big cut and a miss, and the count now 2-2. Montgomery leads Stanford in homers, a freshman All-American last year, and he can hit it a mile. The 2-2 pitch, and that's off the fist and foul. That was 94 miles an hour in on the hands from Jacob Rogers. Montgomery did not have a great series over the weekend against Cal, just 1 for 12 and with 5 strikeouts. The 2-2 pitch is flipped down the left field line, but that ball sliced foul, and the count stays at 2-2. In the 3-game series against Cal, Montgomery's average Fell from 402 to 364. The pitch. 94 miles an hour again. The two hardest fastballs here in the early going for Rogers have come to Montgomery. Rogers trying to throw up a 0 after his offense scored 4. Breaking ball misses. And the count is now full. David Eskew said one thing we really want to see from Montgomery after that weekend at Cal, just get back to pulling the ball to right field in the air, something he's done really well. This is not it. High pop-up, really high. Hudson White coming over, now back into fair territory, and he's able to fight that one off to make the play. And that's out number 1.
To the plate, the designated hitter.
And now here's Malcolm Moore. Now Malcolm Moore, the freshman, normally the catcher, he's the DH for Stanford tonight. And he takes a strike. So Stanford goes switch hitter and left-handed hitter this part of the order, and then Drew Bowser, the righty. Moore, the freshman from Sacramento, who's having just a great freshman year. The Sacramento area that's produced so many great baseball players over the years. And he looks to be in the next line. There's a strike. And Rogers ahead of 1 and 2. The pitch to Moore. And that's 94 on the outside. Boy, Rogers thought he had strike 3. Jacob Rogers throws, and that came way up and in, and it's fouled away. Rogers is from Friendswood, that's Friendswood, Texas. 6'2", 200 pounds. It's in the Houston area, about halfway from Houston to Galveston, Texas. Here's the pitch, too low. And the count 3 and 2. As you would expect, was a great high school pitcher there. The Houston area pitcher of the year. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Moore, and that hit him. And so Malcolm Moore is aboard here. Would have been ball 4. Either way, he's on the painful way. Get him on the front leg, it looks like. And so he's on for Drew Bowser. Bowser having another really good year. Hit a couple of home runs in the Cal Series and a double. Batting in the 6-hole for Stanford. And he himself, a really powerful hitter. Over at first base, Moore, the first base runner of the night for Stanford, and Bowser takes a slider for a ball, 1-0. The pitch, a big cut and a miss, and it's 1-1. Bowser, you see what he's done the last 10 games. 3 homers in the last 5. Going back to the Oklahoma trip. That misses wide. Stanford will return. They'll go to Lubbock next year. Something that David Eskew was very excited about. Great atmosphere there. As they learned when they were there for the regionals, that skips away from Bazell, and in at second base is Moore on the wild pitch. So a man in scoring position for Stanford now. 3-1 here to Bowser. The 2 home runs he hit at Cal were absolute rockets. One went over the scoreboard, still has not landed, at least anyone's knowledge. The 3-1. This is chopped over to short. Burns, his only play, will be to first. Long throw and a good one. Over to third base. Moore moves up. But that's out number 2 as Bowser is retired. Nice throw by shortstop Burns. And now here's today's catcher, Alberto Rios. Rios on a 5-game hit streak. He homered over the weekend as well, had a good series, playing mostly in left field, a little catching. Rios had a game this year against Cal State Bakersfield where he had a Pac-12 record tying 11 runs batted in a single game. The 1-0, and that's too high. And it's 2-0. 4 runs in the top of the second inning for Texas Tech. Jacob Rogers trying to get the shutdown inning in response. The pitch, and that's a strike, 2-1. Malcolm Moore was hit by a pitch over at third base. Creeps down the line, not very far. Rogers throws home, and Rios takes inside. And the count now 3-1 with Cole Hinkleman waiting on deck. Pitch number 35 for Rogers on the night. And nicely blocked by Bizzell behind the plate as he gives Rios the free pass. And now here comes one of the heroes of the weekend, one of the great stories, Cole Hinkleman, senior from the state of Washington. Hinkleman went 4 for 8, 6 RBIs and a homer over the weekend. His RBIs were his first in 3 years. And his hits, the first hits he'd had in 2 years, and his home run, the first of his career. And he pops up the first pitch. This is going to drift back out of play. Bizzell coming over, but that gets into the third row. Hinkleman. Just incredible story of hard work and perseverance. Talking to David Esker about him today. He said sometimes it just takes a little time. And he'd worked so hard. They had a feeling. They put him in the lineup on Friday, and he delivered. They put him back in the lineup on Saturday, and he hits the go-ahead homer in the 9th inning with 2 strikes and 2 outs. The 0-1. And that's nicely picked by Bizzell to keep Stanford off the board for at least the moment. Just the second start of the year behind the plate, but Bizzell looks very comfortable back there. Pickoff throw over at first, and Rios back in, and that was blocked by Cash on a throw in the dirt from Jacob Rogers. Bizzell, the catcher, just stepped out in front of home plate and gave his pitcher Rogers the kind of the both hands calm down gesture. It's chill. Here's Rogers. The same thing we said for Stanford starter Nick Dugan, right? There we go. This is a great opportunity for both of these freshman pitchers. And it's really good lineups. The 1-1. And this is hit well out towards left center field. Harrelson, the center fielder, looking up. It is gone! For 3.5 years, Cole Hinkleman never homered, and he has a home run in back-to-back at-bats in back-to-back games. Unbelievable. What an incredible story. So 3 runs on the board and a big swing from Hinkleman. And just like on Saturday, with his game-winning homer to the opposite field. Now Owen Cobb steps in and takes a ball, and it's 1-0. A walk and a hit batter is how Stanford set the stage in the inning. The 9-hitter Cobb takes a strike. The 1-1 to Cobb. And he squibs that away. Take another look at Cole Hinkleman. This ball was hit very well. And Harrelson will shift it over towards the gap. There's one way to beat that. Cobb fights that off back to the screen. And the count now 1-2. So both freshman pitchers had 1, 2, 3 first innings and then struggled to back it up. Big breaking ball chopped over to first. White digs the short hop and is able to throw it behind the cash to get Cobb with a nice play. But after the 4-run top of the second inning, Stanford answers. Cole Hinkleman, his second home run in as many games. And Stanford pulls within 1. It's 4-3. Good casual Monday evening here in our Game of the Week, presented by Pacific Premier Bank. Great place to hang. Little grassy berm down the first base side. Got one down the third base side as well. Texas Tech leading Stanford 4-3. And the bottom of the Stanford order to face Andrew Devine, who came on in relief of Jacob Rogers last inning, faced one batter and wiggled Texas Tech out of a bases loaded jam. Alberto Rios, who walked and scored his first time, and he takes a ball. So Jacob Rogers for Texas Tech, the starter, true freshman, went 2 2/3, allowed 3 earned runs, walked a couple, did not strike out a batter. Rios on that fastball at 91 miles an hour, out of the hand of Rogers. Pardon me, out of the hand of Devine. Cole Hinkleman on deck. The 1-1. And that is lined, short hopped, and then picked up by Lopez. Tough play for him. That ball was slicing at him, and he made a nice play. 1 down. And now here's Cole Hinkleman. Hinkleman, the hero right now. He homered. Well, hero strong. They're down 4-3. He was the hero on Saturday for sure. This was his first at bat with trailing 4-0 and having just given up 4 runs in an inning. And Hinkleman with the opposite field shot. And he steps in and takes a ball from Devine. And it's 1-0. Devine throws. Hinkleman swings and misses. And the count even at a ball and a strike. 2 homers in his last 2 at-bats. 1 Saturday and 1 today. The 1-1. And that's low. Hinkleman, a senior, never homered in his collegiate career. But he is on it right now. Here's the 2-2. It's up and away, and the count's now 3-1. Owen Cobb on deck for Stanford. Stanford's not used to being in this position. So far this year, the Cardinal plus 38 run differential in the first 2 innings. Did he go? On appeal, he did not. So Hinkleman will walk. And he's on at first now with 1 down. All the runs scored in the second inning. So -1 in the differential today. Makes Stanford still plus 37. Owen Cobb, the 9-hitter, grounded to third base his first time up, 0 for 1. Devine throws, and Cobb bunched that one high to the screen behind home plate. Cobb, let's see the average there. For the 9th place hitter, he's one of the top hitters in the Pac-12. The pitch, and that's up and in. I mentioned, of course, coming in, Tommy Troy leads the league. Braden Montgomery's 5th in the league. Tied with Owen Cobb. He's the 9th place hitter. He's 5th in the Pac-12 in average. The pitch to him. And this ball is lined out towards left. Hester over, and that line drive hits the top of the wall. In at third base is Hinkleman, and Cobb at second. Boy, that was close. That was real close to getting out. This ball was smoked. 105 exit velocity.
The center field, number 22, Eddie Park.
And now here's Eddie Park. Take another look. Oh, that hits the top of the wall. And now Eddie Park takes a strike. Two on and one out for Park. Tying run is at third base for Stanford. Park has softly hit the ball to shortstop twice today. Hinkleman at third, Cobb at second. And the 1-1. He is on the outside for a strike. Take another look at this. This ball out to left. Oof, that hits the top of the padding and stays in for Hester, who played it really well. Give him credit, he was right there. The 1-2 pitch, and that's wide. The count 2-2. That's as far as Owen Cobb can hit it without hitting it out. See if Park can help capitalize. This ball is flipped out towards left. Hester coming over, he makes the catch. Hinkleman's going to tag from third. Strong throw home, and Hinkleman beat it. And this game is tied. Cobb stayed put at second. We do have replay review in this game. If Texas Tech would want to look at it. Devine thought it was worth looking at. That was a really good throw from Nolan Hester in left. Right on the money. And now the umpires are going to get together. For the moment, the game is tied at 4 after the Park sacrifice.
The previous play is
and we will have a review here. First review of the night. Down the staircase by the Texas Tech dugout. And what we're being told is the review is whether or not the runner left, Hinkleman left third base early. I know this. When he left is when he had to leave. Because if he hadn't left when he left, he'd have been thrown out. Let's see if we can see. There's the catch. Hinkleman not in view. And they've got their review looks over there. Here's the play at the plate. Boy, that is also close because Hinkleman's foot kind of catches the dirt and pops up. But the tag also sweeps by him. And this has been relatively quick. Let's see what the result is. Safe at the plate. The left on time. And the call stands. Nothing there to have overturned it. And so Stanford ties the game at 4. Hinkleman with a walk and a run scored. And then Eddie Park comes through with the sacrifice fly. Owen Cobb still out there at second base with 2 outs after the sac fly. And now here's Carter Graham. Graham 0 for 2 with a couple of pop outs. And he takes a strike. Divine set and the 0-1. And he swings and misses. Hinkleman has scored a couple of runs, by the way, now tonight with his 3-run homer and then his run scored there a moment ago. He may be in the lineup for the rest of the year. There goes the runner. The 0-2 pitch is taken for a ball, and what a cannon on Bazell. A Bazell bazooka to third to throw out Owen Cobb trying to take it. Hold on. Now we've got another review. But we just saw the arm on Bazell and why he's behind the plate. That was a rocket. But we're going to have another review. Stanford, it appears, is challenging. Steve Rodriguez, the third base coach for Stanford, hitting coach. And so back to the headset we go. Let's see. I know the throw was there well in advance. Now a big jump from Cobb. The throw is on the money. But I can see the question about, did White get the ball on the heel in time? Ooh. Where is his foot on the bag? There. Man, that is close. Call on the field, as you can see, is out. He might have been safe, but the question is there enough there to overturn it? Let's see. He's out. Yeah, he might have been out. It's hard to tell. He certainly might have been safe. I understand why you challenge it, but there's just not enough there. I think whatever the call was going to be was going to stand. So Bazell with a caught stealing. This game's tied. Coming off a 6 RBI series against Cal. He had 6 hits in 3 games. And he drives this ball out towards the gap. It is gone. A solo shot for Carter Graham puts Stanford in front. Stay hot, Carter Graham. 5 long balls, 3 in the last 5 games. And he has found the stroke, no doubt, after the slow start. He's got the power. This ball was on a line. 91 miles an hour coming in, 104 miles an hour on the exit velocity into the trees. That home run traveled 415 feet. Kevin Bazell, the catcher, out for a chat with Divine. Stanford has hit 2 home runs in this game. And so they now have hit 49 homers on the season. Number 1 in the pack. Tommy Troy has hit the ball hard a couple of times tonight, singled and lined out. After the long talk, Devine awaiting the signal. Pitch clock is running. And now we've got an issue. Pitch clock is down to 4. And here comes Tim Tadlock. And so maybe Texas Tech employing the same maneuver Stanford did earlier. Get the bullpen arm as much time as possible before Tommy Troy comes up. And so Texas Tech will be going to its pen. Maybe. You know, it's Matt Gardner, the pitching coach, who makes the visits. Tadlock, the head coach, who makes the changes. But let's see, is he just buying more time? He just wanted to chat with the umpire? And now we'll go to the bullpen. All right. Why not get as warm as possible on this chilly night? So Andrew Devine is done after the home run from Carter Graham. Stanford's got the lead, and the Red Raiders are going back to the bullpen. After the solo home run from Carter Graham gave Stanford the lead, Tim Tadlock back into his bullpen. Third pitcher of the night for the Red Raiders, Ethan Coombs, the senior from Roswell, New Mexico, making his 9th appearance. 22 strikeouts in 9 1/3 against just 6 walks. You can figure out pretty quickly what he's here to do. Coombs, he started his career at Eastern New Mexico and played 1 year at Howard Payne before spending last season at Lubbock Christian. So this is his 4th stop, and he has found himself on a mound in Stanford, California for a big game. He hasn't allowed an earned run in each of his last 2 outings. And his longest outings this year, he's twice gone 2 innings. He could give Texas Tech somewhere between 35 and 40 pitches. If he's pitching well tonight based on his history this season. 4 runs in the 2nd inning for Texas Tech, 3 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th, and 1 here in the 5th for the home team. And now Tommy Troy will step up. Tommy Troy, Braden Montgomery, and Malcolm Moore. Carter Graham's home run chased Andrew Devine. And Ethan Coombs' first pitch drops below the zone for a ball, 1-0. Devine went 1 1/3 in total. He allowed 2 hits and 2 earned runs. He walked 1 and gave up a double as well, faced 6 batters in relief of Jacob Rogers, the starter tonight for Texas Tech. The pitch to Tommy Troy, and that's a strike, and it's 2-1. Troy takes the ball. Troy, I mentioned the single in the 3rd inning. To give an idea of how hard he hit that ball that he lined out to shortstop on in the 1st, the exit velocity on his line out was harder than the exit velocity on the home run that Carter Graham just hit. 108 miles an hour to 104 miles an hour. This 47 on the exit velo. Off the end of the bat, rolled it over to Gavin Cash. And he steps on the bag out number 1.
Hey.
And now here's Braden Montgomery. It seems every time Montgomery takes a big swing, and he takes big swings, everybody's just waiting for him to hit one over the lights. walked his last time up, and he's popped out to third. Big cut and a miss. Off speed at 79 miles an hour from Coombs. Strikeout pitcher against a home run hitter. And he goes with the off speed again. That at 80 miles an hour. And Montgomery quickly behind 0-2. As he does, he pats his heart when he's in a two-strike situation. Tries to center his mind and lock in. 0-2 from Coombs, and he went around. Ball gets away, and the throw to first is dug out nicely by Gavin Cash, who's had a good defensive game over there. And there is a 3-pitch strikeout of Braden Montgomery. And that'll be Malcolm Moore. Malcolm Moore hit by a pitch back in the second, reached on an error by the second baseman Tracer Lopez. His last time. DHing for Stanford today. Normally the everyday catcher takes a ball. Had a good series against Cal. He's driven in a lot of runs lately. 16 RBIs in the last 8 games for Moore coming into play today. The 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of California and the #1 prospect in the state according to Perfect Game. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Big cut and a miss, 2-1. And talking to David Esker today, he said he's gotten so much better as a catcher since he arrived. And he gave a lot of that credit to Steve Rodriguez working with him. He said if Moore was this good of a catcher coming out of high school last year, he wouldn't be here, meaning he'd be a pro. And as it was, the pros made it enticing, but ultimately Moore, who because of his age will be draft eligible next year as a sophomore, decided to show up on campus here and is having a great freshman year. Here's the 3-1. Swing and a miss. Foul tipped it into the middle of the catcher, Bazell, and the count's full. Ethan Coombs payoff in the dirt. And Moore's on base for the 3rd time today. Been on base 3 times, 3 different ways, but doesn't have a hit. He's been hit, he's reached on an error, now he's walked. Now here's Drew Bowser. Bowser's grounded to short twice. The pitch is in the dirt. And Bazell continues to have a nice game behind the plate. Bowser 2 home runs on Friday in Berkeley. Here's the pitch. Big cut and a miss. And he can hit it a mile just like Montgomery can. Bowser, remember last year in the postseason in Stanford's run to Omaha, and the Cardinal have been to Omaha back-to-back years, hit 6 postseason home runs, which was best in the nation. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball in there for a strike. And it's 1-2. Home run in the inning by Carter Graham. Gave Stanford its first lead of the night. Stanford trailed 4-0 at one point. Moore has a huge lead over at first, and he gets back safely somehow. Moore was, I think, bluffing and just left too early. Watch this. Whoa! Does he get back? Maybe with a left-handed first baseman, he's out. The pitch is swung on and missed. Bowser is tagged out. 2 more strikeouts for Ethan Coombs, who came on in relief after the solo home run from Carter Graham. But the solo home run from Carter Graham put Stanford in front. Little stadium rock on the speakers, and Stanford trying to rock the stadium from the dugout. 5-4, Cardinal leading. New pitcher out of the bullpen for Texas Tech. Who is facing this pack of angry dogs is Derek Bridges, fourth pitcher of the night. Derek Bridges making his third career appearance. Gone just one inning so far this season. And here he is on a Monday night with 2 on and 1 out and trying to protect a 1-run lead. Bridges from Duncan, Oklahoma. Was really good out of the pen last year for Texas Tech, where he pitched 22 innings in 27 appearances and had a 3.27 ERA. That pitch is missed up high, and the throw into second base hits the runner, Hinkleman, but Rio stays put. You know, you got a good arm. Bazell just looking for a reason to throw. Hinkleman tries not to rub the spot where it hit him. He's at second. Rios is at first. The pitch was a ball. Here's the 1-0. That's a big sweeping breaker at 73 miles an hour. Don't let the brief appearance in the high ERA fool you on Bridges. He's been a good pitcher for 2 years for Texas Tech. This ball is lined up the middle to the shortstop. Burns is going to go to third, and Hinkleman is safe. The run scores Rios. And it's now 6-4. Somehow Hinkleman beat that tag. Park is aboard, and now Texas Tech is considering maybe a challenge. There's at least a conversation going on. Either way, the run scores. Burns made the decision to get the lead runner at third, and it looked like he got the ball there in time. Let's take another look here. There was only 1 out, so the run home counts no matter what here. Throw gets there, and I think he got him on the thigh. From that look, I think he got Hinkleman out. And I think it's just me umpiring here. Well, the umpires do the work. We just try to make the predictions and see. But from that first look, it looked like he got him. And if he did, then it'll be 2 outs and a runner at first. If not, 1 out and a runner at first and third. But in any event, it's 6-4. All right, let's take another look here. He misses initially there, but I think he got him right on the thigh before Hinkleman, who's tall, before his long leg got in at the bag. Next year when the bases, well, speaking out of turn, if the bases get bigger here in the college game, as many think they will, get to the big league base size, maybe that play would be even closer. Let's see. What's the call? He is out. So Hinkleman cut down on the force, 6-5. Eddie Park reaches on the fielder's choice. There are now 2 outs. And the run from Rio scores. So 6-4. Park over at first base. He's a good base runner. 5 steals this year in 6 tries. Carter Graham stands in. He homered his last time up, 415 feet out to left center. At the time, it untied the game and gave Stanford a 5-4 lead. Bridges will throw over to first base, check on Park. (6-4) Stanford. Modest lead over at first for Park. And Bridges sweeps a breaking ball in over the outside for a strike. Bridges first appeared over the weekend, or last appeared over the weekend against North Dakota State. This breaking ball is chopped, pounded into the ground. Tough hop for Burns. He picks it and then throws on to first. That was a good play by the young shortstop. That second hop really shot down at him, and he made the play. But Stanford adds another, and as we go to the 7th inning, it's 6-4 Card.
I've been in mid-majors and I've gone to power conferences, and now you get into a league like the Pac-12. And my first experience coming to the Pac-12 was going to a coaches meeting. And now you have the people in charge that are women and the people in charge that are men that validate women and that respect what the women's athletics is doing in the Pac-12. But behind the scenes, you saw people that were fighting for women's basketball, women's athletics, day in and day out, and they're telling you, pick up the phone and call me anytime if you have a problem. And they're marketing your student athletes, and they're getting us on TV, and they're pubbing our athletes and treating them like they should be. Different than a lot of other conferences. You have your own network. You have ways to put your athletes out in front. And to any validation we get today is because of what the women have done in the past and what the ones behind the scenes are doing right now.
On to the 8th inning, and Stanford drags the field and goes into the bullpen. Leading Texas Tech 6-4. And Ryan Bruno is out of the pen. Ryan Bruno, who came into a big spot the other night against Cal. And pitched well. Throws the ball hard, 2 1/3. Struck out 4. He did walk 4 in that appearance through 46 pitches. He came in with a deficit and finished off the game after Stanford took the lead on that Cole Hinkleman home run in the top of the 9th. And then he got out of it in the bottom of the 9th inning, bases loaded situation, and he got the win. Making his 13th appearance of the year. The 1-0 record. That win came on Saturday in Game 3 against Cal. But you can see there from the numbers, the strikes are part of the challenge. Almost a walk per strikeout per innings pitched on both. New left fielder Saborn Campbell has come into the game defensively for Cole Hinkleman.
Now leading off to the top of the 8th inning for Texas Tech, third baseman Hudson White.
Hinkleman done with a good night for him in left field. Made a diving catch and was on base all 3 times. Walked twice and hit the 3-run home run back in the 2nd inning for Stanford. Good relief appearance from Max Meyer, too. So Ryan Bruno, can he? We know he can strike guys out. Can he throw strikes consistently and not give up the walks to a team that walks at a rate that's very good? 6th most walks in the nation, Texas Tech coming into play tonight. Hudson White, the 7th place hitter, here to face Bruno. That's it there to strike. Hudson White, Tracer Lopez, and Will Burns. 7, 8, 9 part of the order here for Stanford, here for Texas Tech. Ryan Bruno with the 0-2. Swing and a miss.
Now batting, pinch hitter number 26.
We've got a pinch hitter. Pinch hitter is Dylan Maxey. Dylan Maxey pinch hitting for the 2nd baseman, Tracer Lopez. And the right-hander takes inside for a ball. 96 miles an hour. There's the heat. Bruno didn't show it much to Hudson White, but he shows it first pitch to Dylan Maxey. Maxey, the freshman from same town as the starter for Texas Tech tonight, Jacob Rogers, Friendswood, Texas. And the pitch to him is up and away. Maxey hitting .261 this year. That's 12 hits and 46 at bats. He has walked 10 times. So he has a .407 on base. And he takes a strike there. It's 3-1, which would be, from Texas Tech's perspective, all they're asking for here. Get him on base and bring the tying run to the plate. The 3-1 pitch to Maxey, up high, and he does his job, draws the walk.
Shortstop, Will Burns.
All right, so now here's the freshman Will Burns. Will Burns stands in with a hit and an RBI tonight. Takes up high, 1-0. 6-4. Ryan Bruno out of the bullpen. Maxey on at first, and the pitch to Burns, a strike. Nolan Hester, the leadoff man, is due up next. But a pinch hitter has come out on deck. That's Drew Woodcocks. Quick throw to first. Well, the move was quick. The throw wasn't as quick. The ball speed as much. Dylan Maxey does have 2 steals and 2 tries this year. Bruno throws home, up high. And it's 2-1. Come on. Bruno kicks and throws. Swing and a miss. 93 miles an hour. And the count even at 2-2. Stanford trying to improve to 22-7. If they can hold on tonight, they'd improve to 13-2 here at home. Two-two pitch. Called strike 3. 94 mile an hour paint. And that's out number 2. And now we'll have another pinch hitter. Drew Woodcocks. Will step in. Junior steps in, hitting .256 this year with a .382 on base, 3 home runs on the season. Runner at first, 2 outs. And there's 94 miles an hour again from Ryan Bruno. And it's 0-1. So Nolan Hester, the man being pinch hit for. Another quick throw to first, and again Maxey back in. Hester was 0 for 2, but was on base twice, was hit by a pitch and walked. But he's a left-hander. And so he's out of the game here against the lefty Bruno. That's in the dirt. Rios able to corral that. A ball and a strike here to Drew Woodcocks. Bruno trying to get this game to the bottom of the 8th, and a big wave and a miss. 94 miles an hour on the high fastball, and it's 1-2. Gage Harrelson, who had a big RBI double back in the 2nd inning, is on deck. All in 2 strikes. Here it comes. And that's called strike 3. So great inning from Ryan Bruno. Works around the walk, strikes out the side. And we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Stanford trying to add on. Ryan Bruno strikes out the side in the top of the 8th inning to keep Stanford in front 6-4. He was dialed in. He walked one batter but worked around it. His fastball was touching 96 miles an hour, and it was paint. And so Dax Dothy remains in the game for Texas Tech after coming on in the bottom of the 7th inning. Everybody that came in to pinch hit remains in the game, or the 2 players that came in to pinch hit remain in the game. Dylan Maxey stays in the game. He goes to catch. The catcher, Kevin Bazell, goes to third base. The third baseman, Hudson White, goes to second base. And the left fielder, Drew Woodcocks, he pinch hit for the left fielder, Nolan Hester. So Woodcock stays in the game. Bazell has mostly started at third base this year, but played well behind the plate in his second start at catcher. So Alberto Rios stands in, and he takes the ball. Rios, Saborn Campbell, and Owen Cobb due up. Pinched a Rios in there for a strike. Rios has had a good game, been on base all 3 times. Oh, pardon me. Been on base twice and grounded out the second on a nice play. He's walked and doubled and scored 2 runs. So Dothy, who hadn't pitched in a month, it was his only appearance now. Getting the opportunity to work the 8th here and try to keep this game at 6-4. Texas Tech led 4-0 after an inning and a half. But Stanford answered quickly, scored 3 in the bottom of the 2nd inning. The part of the order they want coming up is coming up in the top of the 9th for Texas Tech. Gage Harrelson, Kevin Bazell, Gavin Cash, and maybe Austin Green, their 4th place hitter, their DH. Now Maxey behind the plate for the first time. He's that hockey style mask, maybe I would imagine to some degree keeps that earpiece in the ear, helps it from falling out, but maybe sometimes can also dislodge it. Now we're set. Here's the 2-2 to Rios. Breaking ball, wave and a miss. Nice pitch, 77 miles an hour from Dothy.
Now batting, the left fielder, Saborn Campbell.
Now Saborn Campbell. The night for, let's acknowledge, Derek Bridges, I think was, all things considered, a successful one. Here's Saborn Campbell appearing for the first time at the plate after coming in defensively in the top of the inning for Cole Hinkleman. Campbell from Stanford's bench appeared against Cal last week defensively in the blowout 18-8 win. Takes up high, Detroit Country Day High School. But for Derek Bridges, big deal, coming back from injury and starting to work his way back into shape, and he looked good. 1 1/3 innings, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, faced 5 batters. Did not allow a hit, did not allow a run. And you can see how Bridges could be a key pitcher for Texas Tech through the rest of the regular season and then into the postseason. He looked good, looked comfortable out there.
Right here, Doc. Come on.
Owen Cobb waits on deck. The 2-2 pitch to Saborn Campbell is popped up high in the air behind the plate. Catcher Maxey's going to give it a look, but that's going to get into the stands. A lot of foul ground here for the catcher to cover. Ton of room behind home plate. Look at all of that. On a night like tonight, without any wind, to push the ball around and you know, mess with you, probably a fun night to run around. Get the earpiece in there and get the helmet pulled down on it. Another 2-2 pitch coming here to Campbell. And the count's full. Saborn Campbell, just a sophomore. And he takes called strike 3. So back-to-back Ks here in the 8th. And now here's Owen Cobb.
Now batting, the shortstop, Owen Cobb.
Hit the mitt. Perfect spot. Now Cobb, who is 1 for 2 rather, doubled, grounded out, and has a sacrifice bunt. These two teams will play again tomorrow. A 2:05 first pitch. Should be around 65 degrees at first pitch tomorrow. And one tapped foul, 1-1. You can watch that game on Pac-12 Insider. 2:05 first pitch. One pitch to Cobb. Sprayed foul, and it's 1-2. Interesting to see Stanford when they go off to Oregon later in the week. To see Quinn Matthews again after his great start last week, and Matt Scott, who pitched really well. A 1-2 pitch. Hit well out towards center field, racing over the center fielder Harrelson, and he missed it. He missed the ball, and standing at second base is Owen Cobb. Wow. Did he just lose it in the lights? He came racing over. Buletich was coming over the right fielder. And that's a 2-base error. Wow. See if we can tell. He's moving pretty quickly. And he just didn't catch it. A conversation between, oh, there's the lights. If we're playing the blame game. Now Eddie Park's going to stand in. We don't know which of those lights it was, though. We're going to point fingers. Eddie Park up for the 5th time tonight. I honestly, I don't know if he lost it in the lights. He never looked up as if it was. I don't know what other explanation there would be, though. But he never looked up at the lights as so often you see a player do, or he never reacted while he was running over like he lost it. He was running pretty hard. That ball was a long way to go. So chance for Stanford to add on here. And the pitch to Park is fouled off. So he thought there was an out. Whoa. He was ready to come off the mound and into the dugout. And good job, too. Give credit to Owen Cobb for running out of the box, and he got to second base standing. 0-2 pitch to Park, up high.
One right here. Come on.
Cobb, who's at second base, runs well. Really good athlete. Park on the ground over to second. Backhanded by Hudson White, who just moved over from third, and he makes the play. And so the error doesn't hurt, ultimately, Texas Tech. Last chance for the Red Raiders as we head to the ninth. Brian Bruno back out for Stanford to try and put this game away, leading 6-4 here in the ninth. But the most dangerous bats of the Texas Tech order are coming up. 2, 3, 4 hitters, and then maybe Austin Green, the fifth place hitter, who is due up fourth in the inning. Gage Harrelson, Kevin Bazell, and Gavin Cash. Bruno came on in the eighth and struck out the side, worked around a walk. Well, this is the challenge that Thomas Eager, Stanford's pitching coach, talked about end of last week. He said, we've not really had that game yet where we get a lead, close game, bullpen slams the door. This is their chance to take a step against a very good Texas Tech team and a very good offense. Lefty on lefty as Harrelson steps in. And he fists the first ball over to third base, and Tommy Troy stabs it for out number one. That feels good. And now here's Ryan Bruno. Tommy Troy playing in, and still that ball was not hit hard enough to sneak by him. Came off the bat at 52 miles an hour. It was pitched at 93. Bruno hit 96 miles an hour last inning, and he hits 95 right there with the fastball to Kevin Bazell. Bazell 0 for 4 tonight, lined out to right field. That was the hardest hit ball he had back in the fourth when he was green lit on a 3-0 pitch. And he chases that pitch, and it's 0-2. Here's the 0-2. And that ball is tapped foul. And we'll do it again. Zell would love to get on base here in front of one of the top home run hitters in the country. Gavin Cash, who waits on deck. 13 big flies this year, which leaves the Big 12. Bruno with the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Rios out from behind the plate. The throw to first. That's the second time that throw is just, that play has been dangerously close. You hope that Carter Graham is okay. He had to really stretch to get to the bag there. You see him just kind of, adjusting that knee. Big strikeout, fourth strikeout for Bruno, but that's the second 2-3 putout that has been a little dicey for Stanford. Now here's Gavin Cash. And he waves. That was 96 miles an hour at the letters. And it's 0-1. Austin Green hoping for a chance on deck. Pitch. And that misses. That was 97 miles an hour. That was the hardest pitch that Ryan Bruno has thrown tonight. 1-1. Off the fist. Tough play for Bowser's. Got to hurry. He gloves, but he can't get it to the bare hand in time. He knew that was his only chance. It'll be an infield hit for Cash. And so that'll give Texas Tech's offense a little life here, and that'll bring the tying run to the plate. He was so far back. If he makes it, he makes it. But that was a do-or-die type play for Bowser. So now here's Green, who is second in the Big 12 and runs batted in. Tying run at the plate for Texas Tech, and that ball goes to the backstop, and into second base goes Cash. On the wild pitch. I don't think Rios was going to be able to get to that. It's 1-0. Austin Green, a switch hitter, batting right-handed. He fouls that back, 1-1. Green 0 for 3 tonight, 3 strikeouts, been hit by a pitch. Bruno checks the runner at second. And the 1-1. Swing and a miss. That ball's really been diving away from right-handed hitters. Been a good pitch for Bruno tonight. Crowd on its feet now. As Stanford's 1 strike away. Runner at second. The 1-2, not even close. To the backstop again. Rios is going to play the ricochet. And over to third base goes Cash. And really that insurance run that Stanford scored now feels so big back in the 6th. The sacrifice fly.
Here we go, pitch, you got it.
Rather the run on the fielder's choice that gave them that 2-run lead. The 2-2, swing and a miss. A couple of wild pitches. I'm sorry about that, says Bruno, but all good in the end. He strikes out 5 in the last 2 innings. He strikes out Green to end the game, and Stanford slams the door on Texas Tech in the 9th. Ryan Bruno, an impressive finish. A 6-4 Stanford win when it's all said and done. And they trailed 4-0. For both of these teams that enter averaging 9+ runs a game, you knew it would be a challenge for the pitching staffs. And in their own way, they both answered, but certainly Stanford's really got the job.